Returning to our top story this evening in the ongoing search for Nancy Guthrie, the Pima County Sheriff's Department says the suspect's clothes may have been purchased from Walmart, but they're not exclusively available at that store.
The last normal night of Nancy Guthrie's life was a Saturday, January 31st, 2026. Tucson, Arizona. The Catalina foothills, a quiet, affluent neighborhood nestled against the Santa Catalina Mountains, where the streets are clean and the neighbors know each other by name. A neighborhood where nothing like this was ever supposed to happen. Nancy Guthrie was 84 years old. A mother. A grandmother. A woman who had spent years working at the University of Arizona from 1990 to 2007. A woman whose daughter, Savannah Guthrie, co-anchors the Today Show on NBC, one of the most watched morning programs in America. And on the night of January 31st, she simply vanished. Not quietly. Not peacefully. Not of her own will. She was taken. Nancy Guthrie was last seen at her home in the Catalina foothills on the evening of Saturday, January 31st, 2026. She was dropped off by her son-in-law, Tommaso Cioni, at approximately 9:50 p.m. Cioni, who was married to Guthrie's daughter Annie, is the last known person to have seen her. That is the final confirmed human contact. 9:50 p.m. A porch light. A goodbye. And then, nothing. The following morning, Nancy did not arrive for a scheduled live stream of a church service, prompting concern. A member of her church contacted the family to report that she had not appeared as expected. Relatives went to her home around 11 a.m., searched the house and the surrounding property, and found no sign of her. All her personal belongings, her wallet, her cell phone, her vehicle, were still there. But she was nowhere to be found. Officials described Nancy as mentally sharp, but dependent on daily medication and facing mobility issues, ruling out completely the possibility that she may have simply wandered from the residence. Around noon, the family called 911 and reported Nancy Guthrie missing to the Pima County Sheriff's Department. When deputies arrived, what they found inside that house was not the scene of a voluntary departure. Evidence recovered at the residence indicated that Nancy had been taken against her will. Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos stated that he believed she had been abducted. Investigators stated that conditions inside the home were very concerning and inconsistent with a voluntary disappearance. The Pima County Sheriff's Department treated the home as a crime scene and brought in homicide investigators alongside deputies conducting search efforts. Then came the detail that turned a missing persons case into something darker. Bloodstains found at the scene were confirmed to be Nancy's. Video footage captured by media outlets at the scene appeared to show a trail of blood near the front door. There was something else. Something that spoke to the level of planning involved. A doorbell security camera had been removed, a factor that contributed directly to investigators' assessment that Nancy Guthrie was taken from her home against her will. Someone had been here before. Someone who knew where the camera was. Someone who... For 10 days, investigators had no visual evidence of who had entered that house. Then, a breakthrough. An internet-connected Google Nest camera captured an unidentified person in a mask and gloves, carrying a backpack and a gun, approaching Nancy Guthrie's home just before her disappearance. Shortly after Nancy disappeared, Sheriff Nanos had confirmed that the camera at her door had been disconnected and that she did not have a subscription that would have saved video, making investigators' task of recovery extraordinarily difficult. Against those odds, they were successful. More than a week after her reported disappearance, the video was revealed, marking the most significant public development in the case. FBI Director Kash Patel said the Bureau was able to collect the video from back-end systems. 4 images. 1 video. A masked figure, deliberate, unhurried, methodical, at the front door of an 84-year-old woman's home. The suspect is described as male, approximately 5 feet 9 inches to 5 feet 10 inches tall, with an average build. He wore gloves. He wore a mask. Officials determined that the man in the doorbell video was carrying an Ozark Trail backpack, and investigators were still working to identify other items he may have been carrying and where they might have been purchased. This was not an impulsive act. This was a plan. Within days of Nancy's disappearance, messages began arriving, not to the family, but to the media. Multiple ransom notes of undetermined origin demanded payment in cryptocurrency, with 2 deadlines that had passed by February 9th. Savannah Guthrie and her siblings posted a video to social media saying they had received a message and were willing to pay. The message from the person claiming to be the kidnapper was sent to a local media outlet and contained a February 9th deadline for the family to pay a ransom in Bitcoin. Investigators said they were taking the message seriously but could not confirm its authenticity. TMZ reported they received a highly sophisticated ransom demand involving cryptocurrency and forwarded it to the FBI. According to TMZ, the email demanded a dollar amount similar to the previous $6 million ransom demand received days after the kidnapping, and the email graphically described the consequences if the ransom was not paid. A mother's life, reduced to a Bitcoin deadline. Savannah Guthrie's brother, Cameron Guthrie, said in a video on February 5th, "Whoever is out there holding our mother, we want to hear from you. We haven't heard anything directly. We need you to reach out and we need a way to communicate with you so we can move forward. But first we have to know that you have our mom." A multi-agency investigation was launched, led by the Pima County Sheriff's Department, with assistance from the FBI, U.S. Customs and Border Protection, and search and rescue teams, including extensive forensic analysis, neighborhood canvassing, and review of surveillance footage. Sheriff Nanos stated that the Guthrie family, including all siblings and spouses, had been cleared as possible suspects. "The family has been nothing but cooperative and gracious and are victims in this case," he said. During the evening of February 10th, a person of interest was detained for questioning following a traffic stop in Rio Rico, Arizona, approximately 60 miles south of Tucson. Shortly afterward, the Pima County Sheriff's Department and FBI executed a search warrant on a property and vehicle in the same area. By February 11th, the searches had concluded and the individual was released without charges. According to Sheriff Nanos, it was determined that the individual was not involved in the disappearance. Every lead pursued. Every door knocked on. FBI agents began investigating a vacant home near Nancy Guthrie's residence as a possible staging location used by suspects to observe neighborhood routines before her disappearance. Retired SWAT Commander Bob Craigier told investigators the property could have provided cover for suspects to monitor the comings and goings of residents, including Nancy herself. This abduction, it was becoming clear, had been watched, studied, rehearsed. Weeks passed. Then months. Sheriff Nanos told journalist Bill Buckmaster that investigators have DNA they believe is still workable in the case. "I just can't share everything I know, but I will tell you this, we have some DNA that we think is still workable, and we have to work that. We know we have some labs around this country who are really working diligently to get there. We also know we have thousands of video footage that we still have to sort through." The FBI recovered additional images from motion-activated cameras trained on Nancy Guthrie's swimming pool, backyard, and side yard. The cameras recorded nothing suspicious on the night of the abduction itself, but investigators were able to observe several unidentified people in the back and side yards over an unspecified period prior to the abduction. Someone had been watching her. 4 weeks. Investigators also began asking neighbors specifically for video footage from January 11th, 20 days before the abduction, suggesting that the suspect may have appeared at Nancy's home before the night she was taken. A security image of a masked man at her front door recovered from the Nest camera was initially believed to possibly be from that date, though Google later retracted that assertion, stating they could not definitively determine the exact date. The FBI is offering a $100,000 reward for information leading to Nancy Guthrie's recovery or the arrest and conviction of anyone involved in her disappearance. As of the date of this broadcast, Nancy Guthrie has not been found. No arrest has been made. No suspect has been charged. The masked figure on that doorbell camera is still unidentified. The DNA is still being processed in a lab somewhere in this country. The Guthrie family released a statement asking the Tucson community for help. We desperately ask this community for renewed attention to our mom's case. Please consult camera footage, journal notes, text messages, observations, or conversations that in retrospect may hold significance. No detail is too small. It may be the key. Savannah Guthrie shared the surveillance images on her social media accounts and wrote, "Someone out there recognizes this person. We believe she is still out there. Bring her home." An 84-year-old woman. Daily medication she has not had access to for weeks. A family waiting by the phone. A community holding its breath. And somewhere, a masked man who thought he planned the perfect crime. He didn't plan on a nation watching. If you have any information, any detail, no matter how small, contact the FBI at 1-800-CALL-FBI or the Pima County Sheriff's Department at 520-351-4900. Nancy Guthrie deserves to come home.